Bam, there we go. Sorry about that. Had a little audio technicality issues there. Of course we did, because it's Tuesday, June 2nd in the big 2-6, 6-2, 2-0, 2-6. And with it being June 2nd, that means, well, the NFL. I don't know if you guys noticed last night, but can somebody check on the NFL? I think the NFL might have had too much to drink yesterday. Obviously, the June 1st cap situations kick in. And obviously A.J. Brown got traded. I think we all knew A.J. Brown, but A.J. Brown's going to get traded. Everybody expected that. Now, to be fair, without Diana Rossini being a whore, we didn't know when it was coming or what was coming as far as a trade. But obviously, A.J. Brown was dealt. More importantly, so did you guys know that Myles Garrett was like, I want out? Yeah, so Myles Garrett going to Los Angeles, and the Rams doing that thing where they're like, hey, do you not like playing in a cold weather franchise for your whole career and just spinning your wheels in the slop for a mismanaged franchise? Do you not want to partake in a full-on rebuild yet again? All right, well, we're just going to send a bunch of picks to your franchise, and Myles Garrett heading to the Los Angeles Rams. Cool. Great. Now, am I too worried about it? No, because the Lions have the best offensive line in football and what will be a historically good offensive line. So the idea of, oh no, the Rams are the big bad in the NFC, I'm not buying into it, because I know what we got here in the 3-1-3. We'll look a little bit at what happened with the A.J. Brown trade. We're not too worried about it, right? We're not too going to get lost in the sauce. I do like to see assets going away from Philadelphia. I do like to see that. But I don't think the Eagles got exactly what they wanted. And one could speculate that with Diana Rossini not being there to facilitate an overhype potential draft or assets being offered or floated around without her, doing the Julio Jones type situation that she did way back when for the Tennessee Titans, again, while being under Mike Vrabel. I don't think the Eagles quite got what they were hoping to get, but still, mutually beneficial situation, but we're not going to get too far out into the weeds. We got Lions news to talk about. The truth nobody wants to admit, building like the Lions works more than going all in. And this is something that I think people need to kind of wrap their head around. We see a lot of hate for our guy, Brad Holmes, and that is statistically, I think, just kind of unjust. If you look at it. The Slipper, Mike Payton over A to Z Sports, has a good article here for us. We'll then go, get off there, go on now. There we go. We'll go over to Dan Campbell on Penei Sewell's move to left tackle. He says it will, quote, be seamless. We'll see what Dan Campbell has to say about our guy Penei. It's like these, I swear to you, somebody in the Lions franchise, in the organization, is in Mad Hatter Nation because of the terms that we be using. They suddenly become part of the common vernacular down there in Allen Park. Things like going back home, the big end. Guys, come on now. Let's get into it. And then we have, of course, the second week of OTAs kicking off today over at the Meyer Performance Center. 5 players to watch during the second week of OTA. We'll kind of hopefully get through to this. We're running a few minutes behind, but that is what it is. It's Tuesday, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell so that you can be notified every time we go live. The rest of the week, this is it, the final week of the morning show. We will be shifting over to 7 to 8 p.m. live Monday through Friday, of course, at YouTube, Rumble, and Kick, the big 3 that we have been on for the past almost a year now. At least on YouTube. Rumble and Kick, kind of a new thing. Hit the share button. Share this around with all of your friends. And just, again, remember, we will be, moving next week, Monday, to the evening block, right? I know that some of you probably won't be able to make that transition. And that's totally fine, right? It is what it is. You know, like I don't want you to feel like we're leaving you. You know, there will always be that Sunday morning show when the season's underway, and you can always pop in when you want to, right? You'll always be a part of me, right? And I'm part of you indefinitely, right? Boy, don't you know you can never escape me. Ooh, darling, because you'll always be my baby. So we're going to go ahead and kick it on over to my guy Jocko and get into the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Bonus points if you can comment down below what song I was quoting there and who it was by. And go ahead and give you, whoever can name that tune, give a little bonus point. Go ahead and pat you on the bobo on the way out the door. Get yourself a little prize there, a little attaboy, you know what I'm saying? The Browns traded Myles Garrett to the Rams for Jared Verse on a first-round pick and blockbuster deal. So, you know, I was at the store. I was at a certain allocation station for a certain apothecary. And my guy there, who he's also a sports broadcaster, right? That's what he went to school for. And he says to me, "Did you see that Myles Garrett got traded?" And I said, "What?" The only headspace I was in for hearing about a trade, obviously, would be A.J. Brown, right? That's what we were anticipating. Without Diana Rossini spreading her legs and lips of both sorts, there's really no way of that information being, you know, as prevalent in the foreground. But we all knew that the A.J. Brown trade was coming up. Myles Garrett, I said, what? And he goes, yeah, he got traded to the Rams. And immediately my thought was, okay, so the Rams traded Jared Verse and what? Not just because of the talent level, but I was like, well, he's a rookie, so they're getting a big. And then it clicked. I was like, it's June 1st, all the trades, and I looked at him. I go, it's June 1st, and he was like, yep, like, son of a bitch. But you know what? So the Rams are at it again. They've acquired the Defensive Player of the Year and Myles Garrett in a trade with the Brown Eyes, shipping Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 second-round pick, and a 2029 third-round pick to the Cleveland Brown Eyes, the team announced on Monday. Right, so a 1, a 2, and a 3 over the next 3 years, as well as Jared Verse. And Jared Verse, I think, is a very talented player. I mean, he's too young to say he's Myles Garrett, right? But he's a very talented player, right? And good on Cleveland. You just picked up another highly talented defensive end that you can let rot their whole career in the mistake by the lake. We've taken a long stance that our goal is for Myles Garrett to be a one-helmet player for his entire career. Browns GM Andrew Berry said in a statement, after rewriting the record books and representing our organization with excellence, we were sincere in that desire as we entered this offseason. And it did not envision a world where Myles was not a Cleveland Brown. When the Rams first approached us with the possibility of trading Myles, we remained convicted in our position, but as discussions intensified, we were stuck at a legitimate crossroads. Do we hold on to a truly generational player who has become the identity of our team, or do we make the difficult decision that we think is best for the organization over the long run? In that framework, the decision became clear. Although our emotions were muddled, we, and more importantly, our fans, have grown up with Myles, and he's an enormous source of pride for our team. However, as we embark on a new era of Brown Eyes football with a young core and a replenished asset base, we felt this move was important to our transition. Hours after the trade became official, Garrett bid farewell to the Cleveland fan base via social media. Quote, What I can say with complete honesty is this. I gave this city everything I had. I suited up and wore those colors with pride, and I don't regret a second. Sorry, I threw that single in there. A second of being part of this storied franchise. Every Sunday, every offseason, every play, every down, every moment. You gave me more in return than I can ever repay. You made me a gozillionaire. The best days for this franchise are ahead. Thank you for letting me grow here. Thank you for believing in me. Loving you is easy. Leaving you is the hard part. Thank you for 9 unforgettable years. I think this is a lie. Myles Garrett. Look, that's nice. You fucking liar. Bro, fucking lie. Yeah, I love it. Loving Cleveland is easy. Leaving it is hard. Nope. Nope. No. No, I've driven through Cleveland. It's quite easy. You just keep on anywhere but here, baby. Let's go, dude. Let's go. It's massive changing for the Rams, who have never shied away from selling future assets for star talent. Snagging Garrett is another one of them. F them picks. They've been done in a bunch with Brandon Cooks, Jalen Ramsey, Matt Stafford, Von Miller, and Trent McDuffie. Verse is a good young edge rusher, but he is not Myles Garrett. And then it just goes on to talk about Myles Garrett's sacks and all that stuff. But you know what, dude? Maybe. Look. Maybe we're missing the forest for the trees here. Maybe, it's fun to clown on Cleveland, right? It's fun to clown on Cleveland because they're a mistake. And they have just been the absolute bottom feeders of the NFL for so long, right? And as a Lions fan, I can now say that, right? But as a Lions fan, I can also tell you that sometimes trading away a franchise face, the player that everyone loves, the foundation of your team, sometimes unloading that player and starting anew, amassing a ton of draft capital in the process. And if you want to take it a step farther and connect all the dots, doing that with an organization, specifically the Los Angeles Rams, can be that absolute catalyst, right? It could be the turning point, the inflection point. It could be the turning point that sets the Browns on the right course. Detroit is a prime example of an organization that was successfully able to do exactly that. Unload Matt Stafford. Bring in what is viewed less than talent, although Jared Goff was more farther down his NFL career road. There had already been narratives constructed around Jared Goff. There were still some question marks around Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff, if you actually look at the body of work done in Detroit, has silenced all of that. But the national voice is louder than the 313. Detroit versus everybody. Knock on wood if you're with me, men. Right? Jared Verse, do I think this is convenient that Jared Verse just got caught knocking some dude for doing the gay stuff and calling him goofy? Yes. Do I think this is some type of backhanded punishment for Jared Verse that also just happens to be a nice little, leverage play for the Browns? Possibly. But we're not going to get too tinfoil hatty. We're just going to take it on the surface. Myles Garrett wins, right? Myles Garrett now has what should be, by all metrics, on the surface level, a easier road to finally hoisting that Lombardi trophy. Although, as long as the Detroit Lions are doing what they do in the NFC, well, my friend, you actually have a real contender to deal with, not just this, the kids have been playing while Daddy was taking a nap last year, right? But Myles Garrett now on paper has a better road to the Super Bowl. The Rams now have a bigger flash in the pan player, more marketable asset in the biggest media market in the country, right? Now expect Rams games. The Rams are all all you're going to see is that ugly blue and yellow all season, all off season. All everyone's going to be doing is talking about the Rams, the Rams, the Rams, the Rams, the Rams, the Rams. Personally, I kind of hope the Rams come on and shit the bed, right? On the opposite end of the country, the Browns, do theoretically get to unload a massive cap saddling player, although a generational talent and a record-holding defensive end, a once-in-a-generation type player. Yes, Myles Garrett is, in fact, that, a future Hall of Famer. Myles Garrett is that caliber of player who is so good that he makes it into the Hall of Fame in his first bout without a Super Bowl ring. That's how good he is, right? The Browns now amass multiple more draft capital, right? If allocated properly. This could be a wildly successful, beneficial trade for both teams, much like Detroit and LA did, right? It just, I don't think Cleveland is the organization to handle this the proper way. So, that being said, let's head on over to some other trade news. The Eagles traded A.J. Brown to the Patriots. Big surprise. Oh, big surprise. Oh, such a surprise. We didn't see it happening. We never seen that one coming. The A.J. Brown trade to the Patriots included a first-round pick in 2028 and a fifth-round pick in the 2027 draft. So they're getting a first-round pick 2 years down the road, right? Now, it's not bad. This fifth-round pick, though, I think is kind of a throwaway. I don't know, man. I don't know. Fifth-round picks, I do think have a little bit more value in them than what we generally see them for. The fifth-round selection will be the better of New England's 2 picks in that round of next year's draft. So whichever picks, okay, they got 2, right on. A little bit more, but that 2028 first-round pick, that's multiple. That is a nice little knowing that in 2 years you're gonna have 2 first-round picks. That's kind of nice. Also, if you pay attention, the Eagles kind of made all these moves. They planned for Brown's departure all offseason, trading up in the first round to grab USC wide receiver Mekhi Lemon, while also trading for Green Bay Packers receiver Dontavius Wicks and signing Hollywood Brown and Elijah Moore as free agents. And they also have, what's his name? The Slim Reaper, Devonta Smith, right? So they're the problem is Jalen Hurts isn't that great of a quarterback. So AJ Brown finds a new home in New England, and he's phasing into that portion of his career now. Kind of following suit, wash and repeat Stephon Diggs. It's going to kind of be more of a journeyman style for you now. But that's not saying that the talent isn't there. That's just the course that your career arc has taken. I'm not a big A.J. Brown fan, not a big Eagles fan, and not a big Mike Vrabel fan. So let's get on off this story. Let's talk about what we want to talk about here, guys. Let's talk about what we want to talk about here. How we doing, chat? How we doing? There you go, Sleepy Exotics. You get an attaboy and a little pat on your bobo. You got it right. It's Mariah Carey's "Be My Baby" 100%. Nope, you nailed it. Your guess was accurate, dude. You nailed that shit. Yeah, Rick. So that's the thing. People were like, "Hey, how come the Lions didn't get? Why didn't the Lions go after Myles Garrett?" Well, it would have cost us more money than we have. So we would have had to allocate a high-value player to offset the cap, and it basically would have been Aiden Hutchinson, and that's not what we're willing to do, right? Or you would have had to have traded like a Jahmyr Gibbs. The reason that Jared Verse was rolled into it was as a post-June 1st trade, so the Browns were able to divvy up that dead cap hit from Myles Garrett over multiple years. On top of that, they're bringing in Jared Verse, who is still on a rookie-scale contract, so it's only like a $4 million bring in for the Browns. On top of that, the Rams have very low value to unload there. It's all about the money game being the post-1st June cut. But the long and short of it is the reason the Lions didn't go after Myles Garrett was the same reason the Lions didn't go after Max Crosby. We don't have the money. We build differently. You know what I'm saying? That's how the Lions do it. And they have Bluegrass, Southern Rock, Churchill, so I might catch some of the shows. Tuesday is Jazz at the Soggy Bottom. Soggy Bottom. That is in the Bay City area? Saginaw area? Correct? Why the fuck do I know Soggy Bottom? Why the fuck do I know that name? I swear we did stand up there a little bit. That seems right. That seems right. Wednesdays is R&B jazz at the Golden Leaf. I'll miss a lot. Well, I'm sorry, Brent, but you can be here a couple of nights out of the week at least. And honestly, guys, Friday nights are going to be pretty chill, dude. Friday nights are probably just going to have like a happy hour hangout, just like chilling, talking about prepping for the weekend, the slate of games. You know what I'm saying? Goff stance is 23. Our top 2 or 3 in the league. Insane, really. It is, isn't it? Isn't it? It's fucking wild, huh? The Browns got 3 first-rounders in compensation. Jared Verse is worth at least 1 first and a third. Yeah, dude, Jared Verse, and that's the thing is like as soon as the guy at the store was like Myles Garrett to the Rams, I was like, okay, so is Jared Verse and what? Because you had to at least get some talent, and Jared Verse is highly talented. You know what I mean? So you're saying you replace wide receiver they didn't throw to with a smaller receiver they won't throw to? Yes, exactly. Jen, that's not a scheme fit. Then you're wasting your talent. You'll be faded out of the league quickly. Exactly. Ebron did a good interview. Check it out. You talking? When you say Ebron, are you talking Eric Ebron? So what's Eric Ebron doing? Those bars are in Flint. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. I deal soggy bottoms all day. Well, I couldn't remember. I feel like we did some shows there at Soggy Bottom just because the name was funny. We used to say stuff like "Come get your bottom soggy," you know. So let's talk about this. The NFL truth nobody wants to admit. Building like the Lions works more than going all in. All right, so that's a pretty strong statement by the Slipper, right? Coming out swinging on a Tuesday morning. Quote, look, I know what the most common response is going to be, but Mike, they won a Super Bowl 5 years ago. I get that, but there are a lot of nuances here that really nobody wants to pay attention. Let's talk about them. There are 2 ways to build a team, and they both work. But the Lions method works a lot more. There's the way the Rams have been building. The Rams like to buy their players. They either sacrifice draft picks in trades or sign a bunch of players at high dollar. This method worked once. They got the Super Bowl. In 14 years as the Rams GM, he got the team to 2 Super Bowls. There have been some other examples of this working, like the 2020 Buccaneers or the 2015 Broncos. Do you see the pattern here? It usually works one time, and then you either have to go a different direction or rebuild the team and the cap, or do what the Rams are doing, where you keep putting off the future trying to catch lightning in a bottle again. Then there's the Lions version of things. Damn it. Fucking ad. Hang on, let me... Dude, I'm really irritated with A to Z Sports and these fucking Lexus ads that they've been running where it takes the whole screen, dude. I do not appreciate this A to Z Sports. Look at this. Look at what how am I supposed to you know what I'm saying? Like, this is bullshit. It just follows along. Come on now, dude. Then there's the Lions version of things. Draft good players and retain them. And build the model that's meant for more sustained success than trying to win one and then try to catch lightning again. There is a ton of proof that this works way more often. The Eagles have been operating this way. Most of the guys on their team were drafted and retained. Howie Roseman has multiple Super Bowl rings. Frankly, when he sometimes tries the Rams route, it usually hasn't worked. See basically all of his trades from last year. The Chiefs stars were all drafted. They rarely delve into signing huge free agents or making big-time trades. It's never been their style. They have multiple Super Bowl championships to show for it. Look at last year's Seahawks team. Much more of a draft and retain strategy than going out and spending a ton of money on high-priced free agents or making huge trades. People might point out that the Seahawks spent the 4th most in free agency the year before their Super Bowl win, but a little over half of that went to just getting Sam Darnold. You're going to pay premium dollar for the top free agent quarterback. Look at the Patriots dynasty with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, little baby Billy Blue Chew. Little baby, Uncle Baby Billy Blue Chew. They rarely went out and spent a ton of money on guys. Remember what happened the year that they did? Yeah, they went out and got Randy Moss. And they lost a Super Bowl to Eli and the Giants. They were more of a draft and retain than anything else. At the end of the day, there are countless examples of how what the Lions are doing works way more often. I know fans want a dopamine hit. That's exactly what it is. You just want to have that moment in the sun online. You want the articles. You want to have your AI images of the player with the Lions jersey on. I know they want to see something big happen, and they want to feel that moment. But I also know that when it doesn't work out, they'll be the first to blame that moment for the reason the team didn't win at all. It's all psychology, and we're all dealing with it in some way, shape, or form. I agree. It's all about wanting that hit. It's not fun. It's not sexy. Just pulling up in your Ford F-150 when everyone else got their pimped out shit wagons. You know what I'm saying? But Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are like, hey, man, we just got to go to work, dude. I don't care. We just got to go to work, you know? And there's plenty of evidence on how draft and retain is the actual long-term way to build success. I agree. I always call it as building the Madden route, you know? You're effectively just building out, you know, years worth of players. You're drafting players so that they are there. You're drafting them this year to replace a player 2 years down the road. You know what I'm saying? If you're really hell-bent on getting a guy and you're going, you know what, I need this guy. I'm going to get him now. He fits what we do now. You understand, he's not going to be a huge cog in the wheel right off the rip. But, you know, in 2 years, maybe he is the guy, and that's what we drafted him for. I don't know, man. I like the way the Lions go about handling their business. A lot of people don't like it because it's not sexy, it's not fun, but it's the right way to get things done. Oh, I'm over here rhyming. Eric Ebron was Big Mike Williams 2.0. That's awesome. Eric Ebron just gives me heartburn. So what is he doing now? And I hate to be a dick. Is Eric Ebron still in the league? Like, and I don't mean that in a condescending way. Is he still playing ball, or is he doing like the podcast thing? Like, what's going on? Did you guys see Taylor Lewan and Will Compton at the Cracker Barrel? What was the Cracker Barrel 600? They got to do the Gentleman Start Your Engines thing. Eric Ebron was Big Mike Williams, Man Children. No football character. He talks about everything. Joe Lombardi, Mayhew, Caldwell, Megatron, Stafford, Pettigrew is really great. But no shit. What is it on? What is it on? What? Where did he do this? Can I just look up Eric Ebron interview or something like that? 2 rings, 10 years apart. That's true. But it's still the same. Conceited asshat. His personality nails on. I think management like his perspective. He's genuine. Nice. South Season is just a cope fest. So, yeah, pretty much. What's up, Kane? Stafford is OTAs, Myles Garrett, Sean McVay retires immediately. Oh, decapitate. It's damn, I cannot read for shit. She wore a still hohet that was extravagante and quite gagushi. Oh, man. Good thing I got hooked on phonics as a kid, man. That addiction has served me well. He just did an interview. Gotcha. Right on. So, like, what is there? So, is he just like, he's just chilling? Eric Ebron's just out there chilling. People are like, hey, man, talk about it. He's like, all right, bet. I'll check it out, dude. I ain't got nothing going on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got to go to work last week. I can't imagine they expect too terrible much out of me. So, quickly, guys, here, Penei Sewell. Dan Campbell, let's talk about Penei Sewell, right? We all know that what Penei Sewell is capable of. Let's just see what Penei Sewell, Dan Campbell had. Whoopsie, poopsie.
He's over there. He's been, really since. I mean, he's been working it, even being back home before we started the off season. Once I gave him the word, so it'll be like riding a bike for him. Will there be things he'll have to? Yeah, of course there will be. But I mean, he has played left. That's muscle memory. He played a lot of left in college and for us for those, in 21 those first few games, and he still took reps at left, even over the last 5 years. So. So that'll be seamless. That'll be seamless. Sewell can do it all.
Doesn't Dan Campbell seem much more calm than years past? Much more relaxed, much more calm. You know what I'm saying? Sewell started the first 8 games of his rookie campaign at left tackle when Decker was injured before making the move to right side, where he's established himself as one of the best linemen in all of football. In his career, Penei Sewell has played 683 snaps on the left side. Per PFF, 536 came in his rookie season. Switching positions on the O-line isn't as easy as some would make it out, but Sewell's talent and previous experience gives the Lions confidence that the move won't diminish the All-Pros effect on the offense. Quote, his talent speaks for itself, and when he's got all the intangibles. I mean, that's why he's rare, Campbell said. He has all the skills, he has all the intangibles, he works hard, man. He works hard. He's versatile. I mean, there's a number of positions he could play. I think he could play guard if you want to play guard. I've already told you he could play tight end if you need him to play tight end, and some stuff. Just the big thing, we don't overload him. He'll do whatever we ask him to do. He's a team guy. The Lions drafting Blake Miller in the first round cemented Sewell's move to the left side, and the addition of free agent center Cade Mays should help stabilize problematic middle of the line. The guard spots are held by the 2026 sixth-rounder Mormon Oaks Christian Mahogany, and 2025 second-rounder, the Michigan mystery mullet man, Tater Ratledge. Both are coming off up and down seasons, but the hope is that with a better support, each can take a step forward in the Big 2-6 and on the road to Jahmyr Gibbs having 26 touchdowns and 2,600 yards of offensive production. I like those guys, and it's early, but Cade, man, he's a good-looking dude, man, Dan Campbell said. And when asked if his confidence in the group has been better than last year, quote, he's a big man, he's built right, he moves pretty good. And now it's just getting up to speed with our terminology, the mic points, all that. But I like Cade. Man, he's a good fit. He's a good fit for us. And the same thing with Larry Borum, man. Moving Sewell over to the left, I think of for what you want from a young guy. Talking about where we are going in week 6 or off season or whatever. I like where Ratledge is going. That's good. It's good. So I feel good that learned a lot and has grown, has taken some of those things. So that's good. But yeah, we've got a... How many fucking times have I said good? Yo, is Dan Campbell slowly becoming Jocko? Good. He's good. Good. Dude. Next presser, Dan Campbell should just have Jocko go out there for him, stand there and just be like, every question Jocko just goes, good. He's good. It's good. Everything's good. How do you feel about that? Good. I feel good. Good. Yes, dude. Dan Campbell's slowly becoming Jocko. Getting better line plays, key for the Lions offense to get back on track after last year's disappointing season. Yes. Getting better will make everything good. Fucking. Oh, man. Oh. All right, guys. How we doing, Mad Hatter Nation? How have the Lions have done against how have the Lions offense done against Myles Garrett? You know, that's a good question. I don't think we've played the Browns a whole hell of a lot now that you mentioned that, Kane. That's a good point. Sewell's the league's best swing tackle, just so happens to be he's a starter. Sewell's the best league's offensive lineman. He's one of the best players, period, in the league. Yep, dude, that's about the same thing I said about Cade Mays too, Raw. I told you guys before free agency even opened that Cade Mays was the guy the Lions needed to sign. I was like, that's the guy we'll go after. So, when do you think we'll see Myles Garrett in OTAs, or do you think they're just going to let him chill and move? I mean, how much conditioning does he really need? He just needs to know the scheme, and really, it's Myles Garrett. So, like, how much does Myles Garrett really need to like be brought up to like what you're expecting him to do? Go be Myles Garrett. Go be Myles Garrett. Our last article of the day, 5 Lions to watch during the second week of OTAs, right? We got the week 1 out of the way. Got some guys moving around. You know, kind of got to see some looks on the first phase of starters, you know, for whatever that's worth, right? Obviously, the offensive line will be a lot of competition for that right tackle spot. Some people are thinking maybe some competition for the left guard spot. I think Mormon Oaks is going to absolutely dominate it. The defense, though. The defense, right? We've seen our deployment, but there were some guys, obviously, the safeties being injured, right? So, you know, seeing the starting safeties out there for what they were, not necessarily a full indicator. TA, obviously missing missing Friday's practice, so we've seen Rakestraw get a little bit more reps and run. But what can we look for in week 2 of OTAs? Give us, it's like we're getting a little teaser. You know what I mean? This is just kind of tiding us over, holding us through to training camp. But once we get into training camp, once we start getting pads on, then we'll have a little bit more of an indicator as to what we're kind of expecting. But all that to be said, we know as Detroit Lions fans, they keep it all kind of close to the chest, right? Preseason, you're generally not going to see a lot of our starters, right? So you got to take it all with a grain of salt, what we're trying to put together. But, we kind of know who's going to be where and what. It's not like we're really reading tea leaves here, fellas. It's kind of like reading letters, the magnets on your fridge, Lions will continue their OTAs this week, providing a chance for several players to prove their worth ahead of training camp. For the established pros, OTAs are often about acclimating to new teammates and schemes. Meanwhile, for younger players and individuals on the bubble, these practices can either enhance or hurt their roster security entering the summer. Who should we be watching for? Well, as Tim 20man said last week, favorite target amongst quarterbacks was Tyler Conklin. He's a Lions Cruz North High School and CMU product. He has a legit shot to push Brock right, block wrong for the number 2 tight end job during OTAs and training camp. This is no shot against block wrong, but Tyler Conklin is probably going to take your job, dude. He also provides the Lions with some much-needed insurance in case Pro Bowler Sam Laporta needs extra time to recover from the back injury, which prematurely ended his 25 season. Overall, there's a bit of concern with Conklin entering his age 31 season, after he was reportedly a healthy scratch with the Los Angeles Chargers on multiple occasions a season ago. Well, that's because the Chargers don't know what they had with him. Yet signing the veteran tight end remains a shrewd, worthwhile acquisition for Detroit, which entered the offseason with a need for a number 2 tight end. When healthy, Conklin can certainly perform the role. I mean, he was a former starter in the league, and he had a stretch there for like 3 seasons where he had over 50 catches, right, on not great teams. Safety, Dan Jackson, right, a 6th-round pick last year, the number 230th overall pick in the 25 draft, had his rookie campaign cut short by a leg injury he suffered during training camp. Subsequently, he landed on IR and did not see the field at all last season. Prior to the ailment, he was largely viewed as a favorite to be the team's 4th safety. However, with the additional depth Detroit has added to the safeties room this offseason with Christian Eisen and Chuck Clark, Jackson's roster spot could be in jeopardy ahead of the 26th season. Personally, I think that Christian Eisen is a Avonte Maddox type tweener player where it's not necessary. I think Dan Jackson is pretty much a safety, not a defensive back who plays safety, whereas Christian Eisen is a defensive back who can play all over the field, similar to Avonte Maddox. Consequently, Jackson likely needs to have a strong showing in OTAs and training camp in order to earn a spot on the Lions' season-opening 53-man roster. Here's our guy, our guy, Tyleek the Freak. Tyleek the Freak Williams. Williams, the number 28 overall pick in the Big 2-5 NFL draft, started in 10 games as a rookie, recording 18 total tackles, including 2 TFLs, 1 sack, 3 quarterback hits, and 4 passes defended. That's the big one. I know it doesn't sound that impressive. The fact that in limited exposure, my guy's just shooting his hands up in the lanes and at a successfully swatting the ball, that's what I'm talking about. Cerebral player, knows what's going on around him. His awareness is like a 99. He started Detroit's first 6 games for the year alongside DJ Reader before becoming a rotational interior lineman upon McNeil's return from a torn ACL. Williams definitely endured his fair share of struggles as a first-year pro. However, he did show signs of being a productive, run-stuffing interior lineman. Most notably, he notched a TFL and a pass defended in the Lions' victory over small PP Benedict Arnold, Osama Ben Johnson, and the Bears in Week 18. Dan Campbell and co. are expecting Williams to take a major step forward in his second NFL season. And if he fails to do so, the Lions will likely struggle to get consistent results along their interior of their defensive line, even with a healthy Aleem McNeil. Yes, Aleem McNeil and Tyleek need to work in absolute conjunction with one another, a perfect symbiont circle. One will complement the other. As a result, my eyes will be glued to Williams during the second week of OTAs. Let us know what goes on there with Tyleek Williams. Who wrote this? Was it Reisman? Who wrote this? Vito. Keep an eye on Tyleek for Mad Hatter Nation. Got to be an insider. Vito, why don't you come hang out in Mad Hatter Nation? Let us know what's going on, dude. If anybody can get a hold of him, let him know. He's more than welcome to come let us know what's going on with our guy Tyleek the Freak. A little insider information never hurt nobody. Miles Frazier. Frazier made a minimal impact as a rookie. In his NFL debut game against the Cowboys in Week 14, he logged 26 snaps at left guard. It was a mostly forgettable performance for the LSU product, who permitted 3 pressures on 15 pass blocking snaps and earned the lowest PFF grade for all Lions players of the week with a whopping 23.2. He recorded just 20 total offensive snaps after that and didn't fare much better. Altogether, Frazier, albeit in a limited number of snaps, had a rocky first season. He allowed a total of 4 quarterback hurries and 5 pressures in 46 reps at left guard, earning a dismal PFF grade of 26.4 for his efforts. Yeah, that's really, really, really bad. That's why you see we went after Scruggs and Ben Barch to kind of push Frazier a little bit. I do think Frazier has a road to being on this roster, though. I think he's a very versatile player if he can just polish it up, dude. With the additional depth Detroit acquired along the offensive line this offseason, Frazier will need to display signs of growth in order to crack the team's 53-man roster, and it heightens a need for the former LSU lineman to impress during both OTAs and training camp. Finally, our guy, the guy I am quietly rooting for, Enos the Penis, rake straw, breaks like a straw, paper straw, don't let him get wet. When the Lions selected Rakestraw in the second round of the 24 NFL Draft, they envisioned him becoming a key contributor in the secondary. Unfortunately, injuries have prevented that from coming to fruition. Rakestraw appeared in just 8 games as a rookie before injuries again stunted his development. Then, a shoulder ailment suffered during training camp wiped out his entire second season. As a result, the former Missouri corner has logged just 46 total defensive snaps through his 2 NFL campaigns. Availability will ultimately be the best ability. With the additions that the Lions made in the secondary this offseason, Rakestraw will need to have a strong showing in both OTAs and camp in order to maintain his spot on the 53-man roster. I don't know if he even had a spot to maintain. Subsequently, I'll closely be watching the third-year defensive back during the second week of OTAs. So, a couple of guys. I will definitely want to. I am root. You guys know I am rooting for Rakestraw, so I'd like to see how he polishes up in the second week of OTAs. Frazier, not a top priority though. Someone that we are obviously wanting to see developmental depth piece. Tyleek. Man, I got a feeling Tyleek's about to have a big year. I know that it's you can as much as you want them to ascend in the second year, it does seem that more times than not players run into that sophomore slump, that second year wall, a hiccup, right? A hamstring pops, you break your fucking leg, you blow your ACL, you rupture your Achilles, something. So, first and foremost, Tyleek and the Detroit Lions need to stay healthy for any of these metrics to be met. But a healthy Aleem, a healthy Hutch, a competent defensive end of rotation opposite Aiden Hutchinson, a ascending freak athlete in Tyleek Williams. Guys, our front four is shaping up to be pretty rock solid. You're then going to go ahead and throw in the monster that has slowly been Frankensteined back together over 2 off seasons. The freak, the destructive force that is Levi Onwuzurike rotationarily coming in. It's going to be a big year for our defensive line. It's going to be a big year for Tyleek Williams. I can just feel it. Dan Jackson's kind of with the Myles Frazier. I'm not too worried about. Tyler Conklin, I am very confident. And again, it's nothing, no slight against Brock Wright. It's not that I dislike Brock Wright. I just genuinely think Tyler Conklin is a better tight end than you. I really do think that he's going to push you and ultimately overtake your role as the number 2 tight end. How competitive you want to get, if this is what pushes Brock Wright to be better, though, right? Then it's mutually beneficial. But competition, Whoever comes out of it needs to have their helmet on tight. I need production out of you, especially when we know, obviously Laporta could maybe not fully ready to go. Maybe he misses a little bit of time while he's letting that bat get fully polished up. We do know statistically, even though I think it was more of a by force, Drew Petzing does like to use tight ends, right? Tyler Conklin, right? We did see that. We've seen, according to the reports, Friday that that's who the quarterbacks were going after a lot was the tight ends, right? So maybe that's something to expect. So before we head on out of here, we'll take one last walk through Mad Hatter Nation, see how you guys are all doing. What's up, Mr. Fig? How you doing? Part of winning Super Bowl is having proper depth for injuries. 100%, brother. 100%. The offseason about. Yeah, dude, I agree. Yeah, Raw. That is exactly what our offseason was about. It was all about getting not just depth, but like competitive depth, right? Like we know what we have across the 22 starters, right? But once you get down into the depth of it, we also have guys who could be starters on some other teams, in our reserve roles, which is wildly beneficial. That is a wildly beneficial thing to have that much depth. I'm gardening with you this morning. Nice, dude. Are you flowers or vegetables? Or are they the that kind of gardening, the cool gardening? So Conklin will be tight end too. Brock isn't much of a challenge. Yeah, Rick, I think so too, man. It's not like I want Brock Wright to be on the team. I want him to be good, but the reality is just kind of like, Conklin is better, dude. You know what I'm saying? Myles knows what he needs to do. I hope so, Mr. Figs, dude. I hope so, dude. I hope he pulls his head out of his butt. Flowers out. Oh yeah, that's right, Brent. My bad, dude. You don't eat vegetables. My bad, dude. My bad. What kind of flowers are you growing, dude? Are they like flower beds? You got like flower beds around the house? Got some perennials or some annuals? You're like, I love petunias and geraniums. Got a bunch of lilacs or whatever. See, I can't have like lilac bushes around. That shit fucks me up. Drafting injury-prone players isn't smart for MCDC. Super aggressive, smash mouth football. Players yes and no. I don't know. What's up, Snake? How you doing? I was just watering our garden. Nice to know Hat and Beards doubles as a gardening club. We try. That's what I was. That's why I was like, are they those flowers? They're the medicinal kind. Gotcha, Brent. That's what's up, dude. Hopefully pruning the bonsai tree. You're good, man. You're good, Raw. You do whatever you need to do. Notice how I don't engage with it, though? I can see it. I just don't want to fucking deal with it. Actually, yeah, so we probably do. I don't know. I was looking at the weather. We probably do need to water here because I don't know if she watered. I don't know if she watered last night. I don't think she watered last night, but she's got a little garden going, a couple of gardens. We're practicing the garden thing, brushing up, getting the green thumbs polished up. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, when we buy a home, it'd be nice to have like a nice garden section, like an area. You know what I'm saying? It's good. I'm a knucklehead too, man. A good bunch of knuckleheads. I'm a jive turkey and a knucklehead. I don't know. All right. Well, that's probably going to do it for today, guys. We're hoping to get some news. Purify your gardens in the later waters of Lake Minnetonka. Hell yeah, dude. I love it. I fucking love it, dude. Whatever you do, though, make sure that you don't give your plants Brawndo, even though it has electrolytes, and it's what plants crave, right? Brought to you by Carl's Jr. So, make sure that you guys have hit the like button on your way out the door. Share this around with all your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Turn that notification bell on so you can be notified every single time we go live the rest of the week, Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. with the big switch coming next Monday. Next Monday, we will not be here at this time. We will not be here at this time next Tuesday either, or Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. We will be in the 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. time slot. Look, the people demand it. They pounded their fist, and they said, we demand Hat and Beard in the evening. We crave it. It's the only way to get them exposure to more people. We got to have more people coming into the bastion of sanity that is Mad Hatter Nation, right? So share this around with all of your friends. Get ready for the night show. Until then, well, until tomorrow at 10 a.m. I've been James with the Hat and Beard Show. You've been an attentive audience. We'll catch you next time. Banga, banga.